It continues to amaze me how many people out there refuse to accept the fact that The Rise of Skywalker is a movie that most people did not like. It's a terrible movie, and they continue to make excuses for it. They continue to victimize themselves over it, and Daisy Ridley is sadly one of those people that are doing that. The facts of the matter are, this movie barely made $1 billion, which is pretty terrible, especially since the first one made over $2 billion, and this was supposed to be the epic conclusion of the Skywalker saga. This movie should have been a huge movie. This movie was being hyped up as the end game for the Skywalker saga, and it just fell flat on its face. So Daisy Ridley has these new comments that she has decided to release, where she is basically saying that people are not nice. People are very, very mean, especially people that did not like Rise of Skywalker. So let's go ahead and take a look at her comments, and then we can talk about it after that. So Daisy Ridley explains how Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker Backlash was different for her when compared to the other films. Arriving in theaters last December, The Rise of Skywalker had the gargantuan task of wrapping up not only the sequel trilogy, but also the Skywalker saga as a whole. This was supposed to be its endgame. That was the hyped up reaction that they were giving us, and it absolutely failed in that. So Rise of Skywalker proved to be an extremely polarizing upon release, earning the lowest Rotten Tomatoes score for a live-action Star Wars movie, deservedly so. Speaking with Dragcast, Ridley discussed The Rise of Skywalker Backlash and admitted January was not very nice. Not very nice. She elaborated by juxtaposing the trilogy finale with its predecessor and what's changed in the discourse in her mind. It's changed film by film, honestly. Like 98% of it's so amazing. This last film, it was really tricky. January was not that nice. It was weird. I felt like all of this love that we'd sort of been shown the first time around, I was like, where's the love gone? Well, the love's disappeared because you kept on continually, not necessarily you, Daisy Ridley, but the filmmakers that were behind it, the writers that were behind it, trashed the original characters, trashed the legacy of Star Wars, and continued to pump out garbage. That is the fact of the situation, and that is why the love has continued to dissipate when it comes to the Disney Star Wars era. I watched the documentary, The Making of, this week, and it's so filled with love. And I think it's that tricky thing of when you're part of something that is so filled with love, and then everything's lovey-dovey, hunky-dory, lovey. So apparently she just wants everything to be just love, like, I don't know, unicorns and butterflies and rainbows and all this type of stuff. But that's just not the situation, okay? Look. Yes, I'm sure there were lots of people that worked on the film that were in love with the project, but that doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, there are still people who are in charge of the creative process of the film that were able to tamper with it and trash it and make it complete and utter garbage. And that is what happened with Rise of Skywalker. There was a lot of things that they did with the Rise of Skywalker that were horrible, horrible decisions. Rise of Skywalker probably would have been a better movie if The Last Jedi was a better movie, because The Last Jedi completely derailed this entire trilogy, but it doesn't matter because The Rise of Skywalker was still a terrible movie. Now, all the blame for that doesn't go necessarily just on J.J. Abrams or, you know, his writing team or anything like that. A lot of the blame does have to go to Rian Johnson as well, because he was the one that pretty much, you know, took a segment of the tracks off the railroad tracks to derail the entire train and stuff. That was Rian Johnson that did that, and he purposefully did that. He said so multiple times that he purposefully did that with the trilogy, and which is just I still can't get over that. But this is where we're at now. And, you know, just saying that, you know, it's so filled with love doesn't really mean anything, okay? And I think that it's tricky. It's a tricky thing that of when you're part of something that is so filled with love, and then people, you know, everyone's entitled to not like something, but it feels like it's changed slightly. I think in general that's because social media and what have you. So now she's just making excuses for why it feels like there's not much love for Rise of Skywalker. You know, there would have been a lot more love if this movie had been made correctly. Okay, there are plenty of examples out there of movies that have been done correctly, that respected the characters, that respected the story, that have received lots of love. I could point to many, many examples of that. The majority of people that went and saw Avengers Endgame and Avengers Infinity War loved those movies and were very loving towards those movies on social media. So really, it doesn't have anything to do with social media. It doesn't have anything to do with the people, as it has everything to do with the creative process of the movie and how you guys completely screwed it up. That is what is going on right now. Now, it's not like I said, it's not necessarily Daisy Ridley's fault. She's just an actress in the movie. She doesn't really have much control over the story and stuff. And as far as her performance goes, it was fine, you know. So I don't really blame Daisy Ridley for this entire fiasco that we're dealing with right now with Disney Star Wars or anything, but that doesn't mean that she's correct here when she says that everyone's entitled to not like something. So we're entitled to not like it if you're going to give us garbage. We're not going to just blindly love it just like Hollywood wants us to do. They would love to see us just blindly love all of the nonsense that they're putting out there, but that is exactly what we're not going to do, because if we do that, if we start going down that road of just shutting up and just accepting whatever Hollywood gives us, they're going to continue to give us more and more garbage. So that is why we speak out about it. That is why we criticize it, and I just don't think that Daisy Ridley understands that. And I don't think there's a lot of people in Hollywood that understand that, unfortunately. So with that being said, let me know what you think about Daisy Ridley's comments on this entire situation with Rise of Skywalker and all that type of stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will talk to you all very soon in another video. Talk to you later. Bye.